Hey, I'm Brian Borcherdt, and you're listening to The Interview Show.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, there.
Yeah, I'm back. Welcome to the Interview Show. This is Scott Wood, your host, and today I've got Brian Borcherdt from Holy Fuck, and he also does his own stuff. It's a double album called Torches and the Word Colorado Demos. You decided to put these out for free, which was an interesting choice.
You know, for me, again, like trying to do different things is trying to get something done. You know, I'm not always sure what it is that I've finished, and even for that, it's that much harder to even finish it at all. So, you know, sitting around and writing songs is a lot of fun, but then going into a studio to record them there's definitely it definitely takes a bit of work and a bit of time to really finesse it to the point where you're really happy with it and that you're getting it done in a concise way and it's not taking like far too much time and distilling the creative process down to where, you know, things stagnate a little bit over time, which is all of that happens more or less to myself working in the studio, where I would just not have time to finish what I started and then not even really remember what it was I was aiming for. And basically, Holy Fuck was becoming really busy, so it left me with all this unfinished kind of ideas. And, I would come back to these ideas from time to time, and then I would add to them, or I'd add new ideas, which is what I did when I went to Ward, Colorado to hang out and to sort of detox and chill out for a while, where I just kind of recorded a handful of demos of stuff I'd been working on recently. So over time, I just amassed a whole pile of songs, but I never really saw them fit for one concise release. I wasn't really sure if it was current anymore, at least not for myself. I knew they'd be new to people, my friends and fans and people who hadn't heard these songs. It'd be new to them, but I wasn't sure if it was exactly what I wanted to lead and sort of champion them in such a way that this is my new album and this represents where I am now. It didn't really feel the case, so I puzzled over what to do with them for a while. And as time went on, I wasn't sure if I'd release them at all. I ended up having all the files that were on hard drives lost in a cab, actually, as I was. It took off with all my belongings in the trunk. I'd been traveling, so I had everything with me. And that was kind of a eye-opening experience about what it is to lose these creative endeavors. And so when they did come back to me through some lengthy process of, calling the police and all kinds of different things, I got this material back, and that left me basically in a state of mind where I'm like, I feel happy to have them returned, but at the same time, I realize that I can't just sit on them forever. So that's why I decided to just put them out online for free. It wasn't really about trying to make money or make money back. It was more like just trying to do something with them so that they existed outside of my imagination, before maybe they would be gone forever.
Don't know where they've been. You don't know your own friends.
I'm Brian Borcherdt, and you're listening to The Interview Show. And it's a bit of an experiment. I think I think a lot about where we're at for the music industry, or if you want to call it the industry, or whatever it is. I mean, it's sort of like there's a certain anxiety over there's an anxiety about our creative property right now because we're not exactly sure how we can sell it and make a career and make a living, and there's a fear that people out there are going to steal it. But at the same time, it doesn't always have to be that way. There's also something very exciting happening right now where we have an opportunity to share our music with people, and above and beyond all the commerce involved, I think that's one of the reasons why everybody starts playing music in the first place. I think very few people pick up a guitar and learn to write, and they find a new way to express themselves through music. I don't think the first thing they think is, oh, I'm going to make it rich, or I'm going to sell this. It's more about how can I get people to hear this. I will certainly keep selling music because I enjoy that as well. I think that's exciting to sort of make enough like artwork, spend money, and hopefully make a bit of that back so you can do it again. And I still think that's fun to try to keep creating and be able to afford to keep creating. But at the same time, the idea of being able to give something away is really exciting as well.
I was watching this interview with you with the National Post, and they took you to a local record store in Toronto where you live, and you were sort of showing them the music that you liked, et cetera, et cetera. And now that you can just go to a website and download your music, it sort of gets rid of that once some would call a linchpin in the community. So I was wondering what your feelings on that were, and what do you think is replacing that?
Yeah, well, I mean, what's replacing it, I guess, is something above and beyond me. I'm not sure if I really fully understand it. I mean, if music is just the waveforms in the air, if you want to get really philosophical, I mean, they travel freely. You just need to be able to sort of like launch them somehow, and the internet will obviously do that. And there's no stopping that. It's just like a leak in a water jug. It's like that sound travels, and that's what sound does. And I'm excited about that. That's great. Let's keep it traveling. Let's keep everything exciting, and let's keep music happening. I guess I say it's a bit beyond me, is because that's just not what I'm not really excited about the internet. Believe it or not, I find it to be a bit of a dull, expansive like work. It's cool. You can do something cool on there, I'm sure. Like, I love the email. That's fun. It's also work. And for instance, right now I'm putting together a DJ set for. I've been going traveling around doing some DJing. It's kind of new to me. I'm not exactly sure. I've been collecting vinyl for years now, and I can't really fly all around with vinyl on me. It's heavy and it's cumbersome, and you show up at a venue and they don't have turntables. So I'm actually taking the time to dump down a lot of the vinyl tracks I want to play onto my computer, and then playing it off of my computer. So the obvious thing someone could tell me is like, well, why don't you just download that stuff in the first place if it's just going to end up on your computer? It's kind of stupid. It's like, save yourself some money, save yourself some time, and access a far greater database than what you have just in your own record collection. But at the same time, I still enjoy going to record stores. It's still a fun thing for me to go and pick up records and put them on headphones and see what I like. And it's still fun for me to hear about music through word of mouth as opposed to just reading about it on a blog. I find all of that to be incredibly dull. I don't have a lot of patience for my laptop. It's something I do throughout every day because I have to keep connected and to keep on top of my schedule and to keep working. But there's still a lot of hobbies and creative interests that exist outside of that world, whether it's going to a record store or whether it's walking with my headphones on or just going for a hike in a park somewhere, So yeah, I think that, I think if record stores are gone and people stop buying music, I think it'd be a heartbreaker for people like myself who so enjoy contributing to that world. But I don't think we're in any great threat of that immediately right now.
Your eyes on string, swing from their sockets. Your liver shriveled up, and buried in your pocket. Stomach lines, plastic bag, It's worn thin from all the useless garbage your hands keep shoving in. The gaping mouths of sawdust. The tongue is dead and dry. Just a carcass. Stomach lines. Plastic bag. It's worn thin from all the useless garbage your hands keep shoving in.
Hey, I'm Brian Borcherdt, and you're listening to The Interview Show.
With Holy Fuck, you've had a chance to adapt to like a huge surge in popularity, and you've sort of gone through that gamut, we'll call it. Now, you wrote these songs for Torches and the Ward Colorado demos back. Torches was 2004, 2005, I read, and the Colorado demos was 2006. So you wrote those songs before you went through that sort of gauntlet process of popularity. So now when you approach those songs live, or if you wanted to go back to those songs, how would that experience shape the way you look at those songs now?
That's a good question, because I think that you're kind of hitting on that whole idea of why I released them for free. That idea of like, just as far as I'm concerned, I'm not represented by any one record label where people have any vested interest in seeing a profit come out of things. For me, it's truly just a personal expression. And I have to go into something fully understanding what it is, and with Torches and those songs, because they did kind of come about over a process of 3 years or even more, and not worked on every day. It's kind of the opposite, not worked on at all. Like gone in and did something on one day in 2004 and never hearing it again until 2009. So it's like 5 years would go by where something was left untouched, like totally cobweb covered. So for that reason, it's like, it's kind of hard to understand what it is, and I don't play them live, so I played it that one day and never played it again. But, there was a period of time probably where I played those songs live. I know a couple of them made it to the stage, but most of them just were being fleshed out in the demo process, and that's what you hear on that record is like a demo of some ideas. And so I really haven't gone back to them, and I think that's one of the things I'm always trying to do. I'm always trying to find a way to keep current and be able to record in such a way that, I'm not holding on to things. I'm not making things too precious, at least to myself. I'm able to sort of represent myself in a concise way. And, for instance, Coyotes, the record I put out in 2000, well, I put it out in 2008, but I really only spent 3 days working on it for the most, more or less, and they were all very fresh songs. So that record kind of came out in a time frame that was quick, and it still felt fresh to me, and that was really exciting.
But hold up, I was reading. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. But I was reading that you did an East Coast. I was reading that you did an East Coast tour with the songs from Torches. That's true, right? Mm. So then you have played those songs after.
Not really.
No.
On the East Coast tour, I wasn't playing any of the songs from Torches. No.
What, really?
I did probably about 5 years ago or so, but.
Oh, okay. Sorry, maybe your press release was sort of misleading there. Okay, it was interesting. So then I'll ask the question this way: if you were to go on stage and perform those songs, and I'm sure there are a lot of people that want to see you do that, how would you approach them now? Given that you wrote some of them 5 years ago, I mean, you must be a completely different person.
Yeah, I don't think I'm really deliberately trying to, pen myself, like sum myself up in a song. So, there are, more than anything, for me personally, if I hear a song that I wrote 5 years ago, I think more about the place I wrote it, like the old apartment I lived or where I was, and it's kind of a fun, neat little nostalgic thing. But it's not so much about it is an emotional standpoint, but it was vague then, and it's still vague now, at least to myself. So I don't think it would age for me in a bad way. I think more than anything, it's that I like to write songs to the point where I've written a lot more since then. So it would be kind of hard to go back to play live songs that I wrote 5 years ago when I wrote some yesterday that I'm really excited about. So I kind of want to keep this flow of creative energy happening in such a way. Like I said earlier, I don't want things to stagnate, and so I want to be able to keep fluid with everything. And so if you come see me live, you'll probably hear a lot of new songs and stuff that's not recorded. And I don't mean to alienate people who have come expecting to hear certain things. So far, being that I'm at sort of a somewhat obscure level, I think the fans I do have are kind of excited to hear something new. I haven't quite made it to like Black Eyed Peas level yet. I don't have to play like the hits. No one's really begging for them, and that's great because then I can play the new song, and that's more or less how I'm probably going to approach music for the rest of my career. Just always trying to do something that's fresh to myself. I think that energy translates. If I'm really excited about it and I'm moved by it, I think that hopefully will move the audience all that much better.
You're such a mystery. Don't change anything. Don't reveal yourself. I will find you in the clues you leave behind. Don't change anything. A scene. No, I've seen it all. Scene of the crime and the clues you leave behind. No, I don't mind. Just clues to me.
Brian Borcherdt, and you're listening to The Interview Show.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you taking time out to speak with me tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
Before we end the interview, I just wanted to ask you if you could crawl back into the memory banks and pick out one song on either Torches or the Colorado Demos give me a little nugget about it, and I'll play out to that song.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, there's so many. It's not that I'm not able to do this, or it's just that there's so many. I know that the first song I put on the record, Crime Scenes, for me was one of the songs I liked it a lot at the time, but something about laying it down as a full band with a lot of spirit behind it. I felt that maybe it became a little bit too emo for me. So I think it shows a progression from like where that one was, and in the end, I'm kind of like, talking about falling apart and everything, and then you go to something like Preserver, which is how I started off with the Ward, Colorado demo a couple of years later. It's a similar sentiment, but there's definitely a different delivery between them. And for instance, Preserver, it's sort of about that same sense of a loss of self. Just that we get, you wake up hungover for the 50,000th time or whatever, and you just like, it's hard to not feel some self-deprecating kind of thing, to like sort of question what the hell you're doing with yourself. And not that that's entirely what the songs are about, but something like that. And I think I was trying to hone in a little bit more on the true spirit of it, and so it's sort of like one's very stripped down and the other one's very energetic and lively. So I don't know, if you wish to play both of those songs, I think you'll hear some of the same emotion, but delivered very differently.
Don't know how it started. Lost myself. I've waited for someone else to bring me back somehow, to save me, to save me. Don't know when it started. Lost myself. I've waited for someone else to bring me back somehow, to save me, to save